a question that I actually have for you. What are some challenges or obstacles that you faced as a Latina therapist, entrepreneur? I would love to hear about it.
Yeah, girl. I number one was finding a supervisor that looked like me and also showing up on social media when there wasn't really a lot of Latina creators who were therapists that had audience, like big audiences or things like there's someone that I could admire that I could look for guidance or had their own like course or something like that. When I first went in, I was just like bombarded with, a lot of white therapists, which again, no hate, amazing people. I've had a lot of mentors. And even my supervisor, she was one of the first, like her license is like 093. Like she's one of like the first Texas. And I would think like, oh my gosh, she's like older generation, like she's not gonna get it. Shout out to Miss Marianne, amazing woman. She watches my YouTube, so I know that I love her. She's such a supporter. But Marianne was an incredible supervisor. She was so sweet, so kind. Honestly, almost felt like a therapy session. So while it was an obstacle to find some Latina, I'm honestly very proud and grateful that I had her. It was low cost. And think people don't know, but as a therapist, to become fully licensed, you have to pay someone to supervise you.
Oh my God.
The math isn't mathing because I don't know how they want us to pay for something when they pay us pennies at, when you're an LPC. And at the time you couldn't have your own private practice. Now therapists in Texas we call them licensed professional counselor associates, they can have a private practice. Deyanira has her own private practice. And before then, you could not. So I was working a 9 to 5 to get my hours. And in between, I had to ask for permission to drive to see my supervisor because there wasn't a supervisor in my agency. So that was a very big challenge for me. But again, I'm glad that I found someone who was lower cost. And then other challenges for me too was, I mean, like even just narrowing myself down to Latinas. I still see other people in different other cultures, but like even just talking, in this way, like talking in Spanish, things like that, like those were challenges for me because I just felt like, who's she gonna think? And especially again, I told you earlier that I was kind of isolating from my culture. So also being when I did have clients who were only Spanish speaking, having a lot of anxiety over speaking Spanish. And like my words were going to just like, just, if they're
Bilingual
going to do a
brain
little remix,
malfunction.
they're going to do a little remix. And make up words. Like, I don't know, sometimes in session, I will make up a word and my client is like, sí te entiendo, sí te entiendo. Sí te entiendo. And I'm like, oh my God.
Nos entendemos. It's fine. It's
And I'm like,
fine.
I know I am smart. I am smart, but I'm smarter in English. And for some of these words, I'm smarter in English. So that was a big challenge for me. And still, when I have a Spanish speaking client, like I prep a lot more than with my English speaking clients because there are some words or tools that I want to teach them. And because I've learned them in English, I have to learn how to teach them in Spanish. So being bilingual, like, yeah, it's fun, but it's also a lot of work because like I understand it, but it has to take me time. Also, if I had a whole day with English speaking clients and then my last client is Spanish speaking, yes, I will malfunction.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I will just like, what's today? What's the word? So that has been the challenge too. But like not having any entrepreneurs in my family. My mom is now an entrepreneur, which
Oh,
amazing. Like she started her own company, which I'm gonna toot my horn that I think I
amazing.
inspired her, but she's probably like, no. But that I didn't have anybody who taught me about money, handling money, who I should talk to. I had a lot of scarcity mentality, like
Same.
just like pricing and stuff. And just like also like I felt like I couldn't do the bare minimum. I felt like, and maybe I don't know if that's just minority experience, like feeling like you can't do the bare minimum and get results. Like you had to like work your ass off or do it 10 times as harder. Now I'm definitely embodying doing the bare minimum. Not because I'm like lazy or whatever, which I was afraid. As a
Even the fact that you have
minority,
to say that,
yes,
right?
yes. I was
Ah.
gonna, yeah, like the fact, right, that I am not lazy, because we didn't talk about that, but also the stereotype of like, if you know you're not doing anything, being lazy. Yeah, but like now I'm just like, I'm doing the bare minimum because I'm entitled to do the bare minimum. I've worked so hard. I have so much content available for people that I'm okay with doing the bare minimum. I'm okay with, you know, not having a lot of sliding scale spots. Like I do have some, but I'm okay with that. I feel like I have done the work and I just want to reap the benefits now going into my 30s. And yeah, like I feel like I grinded as an entrepreneur. There's still going to be more hustle, you know, in a sane way, but I think those were my challenges. I don't know if you can relate to any of them.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And even just when I consulted with you, it was one of those moments where it was just like this amazing woman just like ran so that I could at least like jog and walk. You know what I mean? And I say that recognizing my privilege as I also say that because that's not fair to you, you know, but I'm so grateful for you. The fact that I was able to just book a consult with you and learn, you know, a lot of the things and feel comfortable while learning because you made me feel so comfortable. I never felt like I'm asking a dumb question or, you know, and it started even before when I would be on your page or you would leave a message in one of my posts of like, I feel like I'm invited to the carne asada. Like that sent me, I was like, this is what I want to do. So you played a huge role in what I'm now getting to do. And I just wanted to say that I'm so grateful for you.
Thank you. Thank you. It made me cry. Oh my gosh. I'm just getting out of my period, so that's why I'm so emotional. I'm so grateful for you
Te
because
van a llorar.
yes. Yes. But it's happy tears though. I'm so grateful for you because yeah, I feel like you've been such a big like you've shouted me out and you've like I've had a lot of people like reach out to me like, where did you find me? Oh, Deyanira, like Deyanira, you know? And so I'm excited for you because I think also competition, like, that's something that I struggle to, competition. I will say I have been envious of people in not a very healthy way. And that was something that I worked a lot last year, that I had to end friendships because I was the problem. Like being like very toxic, very like not being able to cheer on my friend. Again, I had reasons, but but it wasn't healthy. So I had to let go of those friendships, and overall I wish them well, but I wasn't going to be a good friend to them. And I think it takes a lot of maturity and a lot of to say like, I can't be your friend because I'm not good for you. You know, I'm not good for you, you're not good for me. Like, and I'm talking about therapist friends, like friends that I knew from grad school that I just had to like let go because I was felt like we're always in competition and I just didn't like that. I even deleted all my therapist friends on Instagram. Again, not because I didn't want to fall into the same trap of like feeling like, why I'm trying so hard, why does this person get this? Like, no, like there's so much more room for growth. And I had to really look about like internally about what can I do to succeed, you know, instead of looking at like someone else's downfall in order for me to feel good. So I don't know if you could relate.
I'm so grateful for your journey because you've always openly shared these things, you know, on your podcast and on your posts. And it had a huge impact on me when I was in grad school, thinking about, well, what kind of therapist do I want to be? What kind of person do I want to be? And the fact that you always openly shared these things, I think people assume that it's easy. Like, it's not easy to sit here and say, you know, what you're saying. So I'm very appreciative of it because it just allowed me to also remind myself that I can be me as a therapist. That was a huge thing, you know, and you sharing that, that was huge.
And being like you could still be yourself and be professional, like you could still talk Spanglish and you know and be professional, which again was very something that was like hard for me, and I still struggle, like I still struggle showing up on Instagram and you know speaking in Spanish and stuff like that because I do fear they're gonna be like, I who does she think she is, she's not a she's not too Latina enough, you know, like.
We've been told that. Get a new one.
Yeah, and I feel that way too when I've seen some, you know, Latinx creators who speak only Spanish in when they create things. And I'm like, That's you, girl. That's you, baby boo. But I can't do that. Like, I'm not always going to, it's not, it doesn't always comes naturally to me. And again, it could be because I spend so much like time without being immersed in my culture. I didn't have very much, like, a lot of Latino friends here in Dallas, and I had to seek them out because I was like, I need people like for my community.
I just wish there wasn't all this shame attached to when we do have to maybe pull away and modify, things within our culture and that, because I feel it too, when I hear like, oh, you don't speak Spanish well enough, right? And it's been so difficult to hold both of these cultures, like, and I'm talking about just like American culture in general, living here, and Mexican culture, having to live up to both of these standards is just so tiring. So I love when I can just be with people like you or with other friends that just make me feel at ease and relax. Like, you're not going to judge me because of how I speak my Spanish. You're not going to judge me if I make up a word. You're going to understand what I'm saying and I'm going to feel comfortable. I love it.
Yes. So, and I think it's also like for us, we are our biggest critics, right? Like we criticize ourselves more than others. And so I think just to remember that too, like this is you're in it here for the long haul. I think the best advice I got is like, you want to build a sustainable business, you're in it for the long haul. Don't burn yourself out. That's why I tell people like I'm going on a social media break. I'm only posting twice because I want people to know that you can still be successful now. Does that mean that successful means, 6-figure months? If that's what success means to you, then great. I mean, 6-figure months, damn. That's a lot of money. Figure. I know. I was like, whoa, 6-figure year. Like that's a lot of money. If that's what you want for your success, then great. For me, I let go a lot about the numbers of how I make. Now I'm glad that I am able to make the money that I want, but also embodying that you could do so much with very little and still live an amazing, grateful life. And I think too, like, I think something about you that I love is that you really do encourage people that you do like less is more. Like if you only have this much, then just prioritizing what's most important to you. And if that means a consult with another therapist, or if that means the EHR program, the civil practice or whatever, like that's what you're going to purchase, like what is important to you. If 6 figures are important to you, then you definitely want to find someone who that's important to. But if sustainable success, not burning yourself out, not constantly posting every single day, all of that is what success is for you, I'm your girl. I'm your girl because I can't post every day. I can't create content every day. It's like not sustainable. Like it doesn't last. That's the thing too with Instagram. It doesn't last long. That's why I moved to YouTube, because there's a lot more people are more likely to watch a video from a year ago than they are Instagram reel.
Yes, even just talking about like TikTok probably getting banned, like, and all of that was happening. I'm like,
I'm okay with it. I know you might not be okay with it because I know you have,
it was huge
but
for me.
I'm okay with it. I know. So again, different perspectives.
Yes.
But I get it. It is like, it is.
Yeah. And I love that we keep having like still different perspectives, because it reminds people too that we are different. Like there are things that we share that are similar, but we each have to find what works for us, because we have different needs.
Yeah, because if Instagram was banned, I think I would be like probably the same boat. Because for me, I started on Instagram and I did do TikTok, but I just like I couldn't. It's not me. Like for me, maybe because I've been doing multiple platforms like the podcast, so I'm like, girl, you just too much. So for me, my choice is no TikTok, but I know your choice is like maybe just keep it educational. I don't know. I wish like could they just keep the counselors and like people who are verified?
That would be great. Like businesses.
Yeah, like businesses that are verified, and less of like people who are giving out advice and things like that are just like not even.
Me and my clients have discussions about the TikToks that they watch. They're like, I watch this. What do you think? Because similar, like there's just so much information being given to them so rapidly.
Yeah, I had someone says like, I don't have clients send me like, oh, you have your clients send you TikToks, and I'm like, absolutely, because if they
What do
don't
you
know
do?
what, like absolutely, because if they don't know how to like communicate what they're feeling or what, if that is just their method of, if it's the same thing, if they had to show
Yeah.
me a picture or if they had to show me a
Yeah.
text message, like, or an email, they want me to know, they want me to understand at a deeper level of how
Mm.
they're feeling. And if I can't meet them where they're at, that means me watching a TikTok. I mean, like, what an amazing life to have. Like, that's your job. You get to watch a TikTok because your client says, like, this is how I feel. And then you get to watch it and then ask questions about it.
I love it because it even just helps you get to know their personality of what they tend to watch and what they tend to enjoy. Like I'll sometimes get funny related things, but sometimes I'll get very serious things of, someone having trouble being able to talk to their therapist about suicidal ideation. And I'm like, okay, we got this. Let's talk about it. Now that I've gotten to see this TikTok, that I've gotten to know what you're thinking, let's talk about it. So I love that.
Yeah, I think that social media isn't all bad. I think it's what you make of it. I like that YouTube is now allowing people to register so that you can have like a little health. So if you just communicate health information, you can have a little tag that says health, whatever. I got declined, but that's okay. I think it's because I just didn't have a lot of content because I saw a therapist who got approved and all they do is reaction videos. So I'm just like,
Happen here.
what happened? So I don't know, but maybe it is health because they're saying like health information. So I don't know. So I'm going to try. They said that I could try again, but I like that that's what some people are doing. And now, Danny, I don't know if you saw, but Meta is now allowing people to get verified. You have to pay a monthly thing, but that would help. Like, I like that, but I wish you could get, instead of just getting, I wish there was a different verification for like health, health and wellness professionals, because that could, a blue one if it's just someone, you want to be verified because you're a personal figure, but a red one or a green one if you're a
doctor,
yeah. So someone from Meta, if you're listening to this,
please hook us up.
Yeah, pick this up. Make this a priority. I'm sure eventually things are so slow that I think we'll eventually get to that point.
I think so too. And if they did hear this, also pay Monica for the idea. Just saying, if you did
absolutely,
hear it.
Absolutely, yes. Pay me to the consult. That's awesome too. That's like a dream of mine, like being part of like a mental health startup, like in like the board or something, like doing something better than BetterHelp. But these are my own personal opinions. I wish there was just more variety of mental health apps to access, affordable therapy.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to ask you almost my final question. One, I'm very curious because you're already in, you're kind of closing into you're getting your hours, right? So what kind of advice do you would like to give other therapists who are in grad school? I know you do consultations for people who are like just, beginning their journey or in grad school and are like getting ready for the exam. So what advice do you have for?
Something that I've loved is the fact that I do have a YouTube channel geared toward helping associates, because I remember how I felt. I felt so lost when I was in grad school, just everyday questions of what this career field's going to be like. What can I expect in grad school? So I would say that the number one thing is don't go grad school alone. Don't go your schooling alone. Lean on community. And especially, as a Latina or for anyone who is in, a minority group or a different cultural group, lean into, that part, because this whole idea of us being able to do it on our own is so exhausting that by the time you come out, you just feel so burnt out and so tired. So even if it's just making one grad school friend that you can lean on, having one family member, one person that you allow to be a part of your journey, whether that be through words of encouragement, through helping you in what you need and being honest about what you need, I think is a huge one, and not trying to go it alone.
I agree. My cohort and I mean, I couldn't have done it without them. They're amazing. I still check in on some of them. Some of them are just like really close friends. But yeah, really make good friendships with your cohorts, like get to know each other. Like, I agree. Something else that I would say too is to learn to take care of yourself first. You'll still feel a sense of guilt, but ultimately feel more empowered to help others because you're not pouring from an empty cup. You're actually, pouring onto yourself so you could give to others. And what would this look like in a practical sense? And I might get hate for this, but what this may mean is that it's okay to work in community mental health to get experience and then leave. It's okay to leave for private practice. It's okay to have a limit of how many years you're going to work in community mental health, because the reality is that not only do the people who seek out community mental health don't have the resources, but also the practitioners, mental health professionals don't have the resources to monetary, to actually be able to seek out their own therapist while working community mental health so that they can able to sustain things like that. Like, I think that was a big thing. Like, I challenged myself. I was known as the one who got all of the clients who struggled with borderline personality disorder, schizophrenia, like traumatic brain injuries, like a lot of those. And I'm glad I did, because it was an experience, but that's all they would give me. I wish I would have spoken up much more earlier, but I didn't have the confidence then to say, like, I need a balance for my caseload, because if not, my ass is going to burn out. So I challenge yourself gradually and speak up for yourself, because that was something that I had to learn the hard way and leave a job because I was burnt out.
Yes. I agree with you, Monica. Like the importance of having a plan and knowing it's okay. I wish I would have gone into community health telling myself, you're just going to be here for 4 months, try it out, and then leave. And for me, I didn't have that kind of plan. I just knew, okay, I need to get some experience. I also need to work.
Hmm.
So let me just do this. And I kept pressuring myself to keep going. What's wrong with me? Because I can't keep doing this. I'm not like my other coworkers who can continue to
I'm
do
not,
this. Meanwhile, we're not happy. No one's
yeah,
happy.
right. Like, I'm not strong enough. I can't do this, right? Like, all those things that you tell yourself because people, I mean, I've heard on the other spectrum, like, oh, people are leaving to, private practice and they're leaving nobody. But it's like, who you should be mad at is not the therapists who lead community mental health. It's the people who are running those programs, or the people who are, but, giving out the money for those programs, who are not also compensate. They're just thinking about the programs, not also the compensation about the people who are doing the work. So yeah, like it's okay. Like, it's okay. I had to grieve a lot of like that, like being okay and not feel guilty for leaving a state agency where at the end of the day, the mission of the agency changed to where it wasn't helping people. People were just numbers. And I did not like that. That's why I went to private practice, because in private practice, my clients matter. I prioritize them. I mean, of course, I prioritize myself, but I prioritize them.
100%. Like even just the feeling of you don't get a break in between seeing clients. Like I promise you, most of your therapists in community mental health are not okay. Like they're trying their hardest and their best, but the whole system just needs to be reworked. It ain't working. The math ain't mathing. Like you said earlier, it's too much.
It is. And again, people don't say this. And I wish also to, like, because in my grad program, they were like, state agency, the one we like, the based on the program we went to, like, it was very much go to state agency. And you were a sellout if you did private practice or any type of start your own business or anything. And no, like, if being a sellout means that you get to actually help people and help yourself and do this for the long term, you know. So yeah, I stayed in my job honestly for as long as because I did like the RSA. So it was basically I get paid to work for, if I work for state government, I get my graduate school paid for. But I thought that was going to be my like career. Like, I was ready to move up the ranks and stuff, but it just didn't work out.
I went the other route where I took like the student loan hit and because I already had the feeling that I wasn't going to be able to commit to doing that. Just knowing myself a little bit, I feel like I learned way more about myself once I worked in community mental health. But it's interesting how we both have different experiences that way, because your girl, friendly neighborhood therapist, is still out here trying to see if her student loans are going to be forgiven.
Well, I
So
still have a little bit of student loans. Like, again, grateful that they're not a lot, but I'm like waiting for Mr. Biden.
if you're hearing this,
Right? Help us this out, like
you
get
know
those
what you
student
need
loans.
to do.
That's a whole like mental health and financial pray for us. Yeah. I'm praying for that to go, hopefully, because it would
Yeah.
eliminate so much stress and stuff. I'm so happy that we got to do this. Where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on Instagram, on TikTok as Close Mental Health Services. And also, if you are an LPC associate or a counselor in training, therapist in training, you can find me on YouTube under Keep On Growing.
Yay. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, Monica.